All right. Good evening, everyone. We know the stream is live. We're just going to make sure that the slides are pulled up. Here we go. And we are going to get started because we know you guys want to get to the good stuff. So we're just making sure StreamYard works with us. I'll click present. Hopefully it'll pop up in a second. If not, I will share a screen, whichever one is easier. It's literally sitting right there. All right. Dr. Romero, if you hit the present button, does it give you the option to show those slides?
It says I have no slides to share.
Okay. Oh, there it is, finally. Okay. It just took a second. All right, so we will get started, everybody. Thank you for joining us on one of our final Road to Residency events. This is an event between LMSA, SNMA, and the Tour for Diversity in Medicine. We'll both introduce ourselves real quick. My name is Dr. Levanani. I'm an emergency medicine physician practicing out of Nashville, Tennessee. And my partner in crime, who's probably under a foot of snow, is
Minerva Romero. I'm a general and endocrine surgeon. I'm part of Weill Cornell Medicine, and I practice in Brooklyn at Brooklyn Methodist Hospital.
All right, so we're going to get going. The main agenda for today is to prep everyone. We know rank list submissions are due very, very soon, as well as figuring out the match. So we have a couple of things we want to go over. First off, we're going to review upcoming dates. Even though some of this may be second nature to you guys, and you already have probably about 10 reminders on your phone, we want to double check with everybody. We want to talk about how to create a mature match list. There's actually some new points here that we have to go over that we never had to go over before in the past, and I'll save that as a tidbit for the future. And then how to prepare for match day. This is the big thing I think everyone really likes to know. For this year, who's likely to match, who's not likely to match, the specialty you're looking at, what's the percentage, the applications you need to have. This is really one of those presentations where if you were like, okay, cool, I got this. If by the end of the presentation you're stressed, that's good. We have time to work through the stress. One of the things you'll hear from all the mentors is we prefer to be contacted now than to be contacted after March 16th. But we will talk about what happens after March 16th as well. We'll recap, and then most importantly, we'll answer all of your questions. We should be able to see all of the chats combined. I know if I put a comment in the chats right now, like I just typed the word hi, it can come up so we can interact with you guys and work with you guys. So at least type your comments and we should see them all. Mine show up as YouTube comments. All right, so first and foremost, all the important deadlines. Obviously, February 2nd has passed. The rank list open. Congratulations. March 4th, which is just next week, an RMP certification deadline is coming up. Then, of course, March 16th is the big find out if you matched or if you didn't match. Then if you did not match, you will find out on the 16th if you are entered into the SOAP or eligible for the SOAP, as I like to say. March 17th, NRMP SOAP applicants are reviewed by the programs. Some interviews may start that day. And then by the 19th, they're offering up those positions. And then by the 19th at 9 p.m., it closes, and we do the same thing every single day. And then March 20th is the big day, match day for everybody. Regardless of what happened on the 16th, the 20th is your match day.
And that's a big day to celebrate. Don't forget that no matter what the outcome, it's really important to celebrate all of your achievements and getting to match day.
1,000%. So if we have time, we will go over this video or we can play it for everybody. But if not, here in the chat, if you can see the YouTube chat, the comment has failed to post. All right. I can't post it apparently unless it's cleared by the organization running the chat. So if you can see that, you can let that through. It is the website for the NRMP video, or you can just type it up. You can see it on the screen right now. If you've not watched this video to see how the match really works, I highly recommend that you watch it. You can get it straight from the NRMP. You can get it from YouTube as well. It is a pretty straightforward video that shows you how the match works. There's a lot of false information out there sometimes about, oh, there's the YouTube link. Maybe the YouTube won't work for you. Oh, there's a monkey in the background that, chooses names out of a hat. That's not how the match works, okay? People really want to know how many programs do I need? What does the algorithm do, et cetera, et cetera. This video explains it all and gives you the background between how the NRMP got there and why it is a worldwide use system. Even though ERAS has been broken up, right? I know there are a lot of people out there applying to EM for the first time. You are now on residency cast along with OB. Everyone still uses NRMP for the match because it's the gold standard. It truly is the best. Some major points to go over. The list, again, for everyone is controlled by NRMP. No matter who you matched with, NRMP is doing the match. So if you thought, oh, Residency Cast is doing it for me, no. Make sure you've signed up and listed all of your programs through NRMP. Again, the match is processed by a mathematical algorithm, okay? So it takes everything out there, it ranks best, lowest, it ranks all your choices, and then it links you with the correct program. The algorithm is weighted in favor of the student, okay? So whatever you list 1, 2, or 3, the algorithm is going to do whatever mathematically possible to get you in those spots. I like to always tell everybody, if you rank something 1 and they rank you 1, it's mathematically impossible to not rank there. You will have to go there. Where math gets hard is when you rank them 1 and they rank you 175, right? That's when things get a little more difficult. So obviously for the student, the longer the list, the higher the chance of matching on that note. Dr. Romero, you about to say something?
Yeah, I think it's a great point that you're making, and the main consideration should be you should rank all the programs that you interviewed at, unless you would really rather not match than train there.
I tell people that all the time. Some people have definitely come up to me. I did not like my interview. I hated that. And I told them, all right, cool. Would you rather work there or enter the SOAP? I ask everyone that question. And if your answer is enter the SOAP, then cool. Don't rank them. But you never know. Match results are binding. So, this is a very, very big deal. If you match at program A and then you see program B has an open spot and you're like, oh, I prefer to go there, and you try to decouple to go there, it's binding. You're gonna need some lawyers, some friends, some people in high places to make it work. So I'm just throwing that out there. Do it on the front street. Has it happened before? Yes. Will it happen again? Yes. Just make sure you have all your ducks in a row. And last but not least, some of you guys may be looking at this point of AI is helpful, but shouldn't be the only factor. This is what I meant by we've never had to talk about this before. Whenever we've done this presentation, this is like our 4th or 5th time, I think, doing this. In 2026, there are more AI names than I can name between ChatGPT, Gemini, Gronk, and Copilot, all of them. One of you out there right now, I know, is thinking, I'm just going to list all the programs and tell ChatGPT to rank them for me and enter the rank like that. Don't do that. All right. While these programs are very, very, very smart, ChatGPT has to pull from online what makes those programs good or bad, and then it's going to rank it for you like that. And for a lot of you out there, some of you would prefer to work at places that still promote DEI. But if ChatGPT is listening to a bunch of bots online, they're going to think DEI is bad and rank those programs lower. So I highly recommend you use ChatGPT for interesting things that would help you, but not ranking the programs. For example, I tested this out yesterday. I listed all the cities I had interviewed at and was on my rank list. And I was using Gemini, if I'm being honest. I was using Gemini through Google, and I said rank by concerts, concerts that come to those cities, which are the best ones. Then I said rank by cost of living. And then I said rank by outdoor walkings. That's what you want AI to do for you. Whatever category you have in your heart, that's what you want it to do. Back in the day, I'm sure Dr. Romero had to use Excel spreadsheets and then organize the little numbers and then click the number, rank 1 to 3. This is what ChatGPT will do for you. But do not enter the names and then click rank 1 through 4. It's not going to list what you want.
Yeah, and it's important to know, whichever process you go through, ultimately, we really just want you to keep in mind, you have to think what is important to you, and the way that you make your rank list may not necessarily be the way that somebody else, your friend, your enemy, your frenemy, you may not have the same priorities or the same conflicting responsibilities. And so it's really important to think about what would make you successful in the training program what would make you successful on a professional, personal level to be able to really be the best doctor you can be.
And if anyone's wondering, yes, it will rank it by number of single blank in that city because I tested that as well. All right, let's talk about some data. Dr. Romero, do you want to talk about this first slide and this first point of data here?
So you can definitely find data about each match year. The NRMP does put out data on the match, and they give you all of the tea about who ranked, what was the mean score, what was the number of research experiences that people had when they were successful applicants, how many people had honors like being an AOA member. You can see how many people have additional degrees, whether that is a PhD or a master's degree. And so you can really look at how do each of these categories affect your likelihood of matching versus not matching. Now, I think it's important to go by the data and have yourself be a little bit more informed about factors that maybe play in your favor. But I wouldn't take this to mean that if you don't have any one of these factors, that means you're not going to match. None of us look at a single determining factor characteristic to say that someone is or isn't good. And we really, I think, are seeing a lot of holistic review of applications. So programs are looking at your application as a whole and looking at the variety of experiences that you bring with you to the table and how you're going to strengthen their program.
And if this is your first time seeing this slide ever, again, NRMP does publish it, but we did the work for you. Take a picture, reflect on it later. Obviously, this is being quoted and streamed. I will say the one thing that stood out to me before we go to the next slide is every year we do this, I'm always interested in the number of programs people rank on average that matched. And I feel like every year for the last couple of years, it's been going up by one.
Absolutely.
Right? I don't care if I date myself, I matched 2012. Yeah. That number then was 9. It's
and
13
that's
now.
Absolutely the truth. It does go up. And obviously, at this point in the application cycle, that specific statistic is a little bit out of your control, meaning you cannot change the number of places that you interviewed. But what you do have within your control is how many of those programs do you rank? And definitely ranking all of them is going to increase your likelihood of matching instead of leaving programs out. Now, it doesn't mean you cannot consider leaving programs out, but you have to be very cognizant of what that means for you and your match probabilities. Let's go to the next slide. So we still get a lot of questions about whether there's a difference between the allopathic and osteopathic schools. I think a lot of that is, thankfully, I think it's getting left behind in medicine. You will still find that. I know one of the big changes that happened recently is that programs are becoming merged. Before, there used to be programs that were specifically reserved to train DO students and now physicians. However, those programs are no longer exclusive to DOs, and so a lot of people in the osteopathic schools felt like maybe that was bringing them a disadvantage. So this is the data on the US-based DO students, and again, you can see the number of contiguous ranks is the number one factor, that the more programs there are, the more likelihood that people match. And they look at them across the board for all of the different experiences, exam scores, and you can see that there's not a significant difference between the two. So again, this information is available for you. It's probably by this point also updated to reflect, you can look at 2022, 2023, 24, 25, and obviously we're going into the 2026 cycle. Let's go on to the next slide. Um, for IMGs, the data is also there. You can see that just because you're an IMG doesn't mean that you're unlikely to match, but you do have information that may help you as you consider your rank list. What are the characteristics that work in your favor based on your own application profile? And what are the factors that perhaps you know the program has as considerations in how they rank applicants, and you can use the two to come up with a way that you think will optimize your not only your opportunity to match, but also your happiness in residency and how satisfied you think you're going to be with your training.
Yes, no one should look at this slide and say, "Oh, I have four rankings. I'm too higher than the unmatched category." No, with IMGs, on average, the number of interviews are less. So obviously, the number of ranks you need tend to be less, but you should be the higher the number, the better. And you can see all the step scores here. So again, if you're one of our US IMG students, these are the metrics that you want to use. But obviously, if you can compare yourself to an MD or DO with those stats, you are in a better position to match.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what you're going to do from now until the start of match week.
So, everybody, we just went over those slides. Please take a deep breath, go back. If you're rewatching this, hit rewind. Everybody needs to take an introspective and real look at their numbers. Again, if you're one off, there's no problem having a backup problem. You're sitting at 10 programs and that number was 13. There's no problem thinking about the backup. I've made this joke before and I will say it again. She probably doesn't have to do this very much anymore. But back in the day, when Dr. Romero had to go in to do a cholecystectomy and was doing it robotic, if it failed, she had to have the backup to convert to open, right? You have to know that. In medicine, you have to have backups and thoughts for everything. So for everybody out there, us telling you to think about the soap and think about your backup is not us saying that we're praying for you to fail or manifesting it to fail. It's just have it in your back pocket, and we pray you don't need it. So once you take that introspective look, start identifying your specialties and options early. We'll talk about that a little bit on the next slide. But you still have time now, well before any of the ranks come out or match day comes out. You should start thinking, you know what? I only have 9 interviews for EM. That's not really 13. Maybe I'll do family afterwards. I wonder if I should talk to my family medicine doc that I rotated with on that specialty. Should I reach out to the chair now, or should I just at least get cozy with the chair so they know that I'm thinking about it? Should I make sure the chair knows my name, right? Like, we're not saying go get a liver recommendation right now, but make sure they know your name so you're ready when you need to do that. And then the other big things are to identify who your team is going to be on the 16th. You can see our recommended team people down there right now. You will be surprised. I have found the cry person and the food person to be the most immediate need, but the letter writing person is probably the strongest for actually matching. So make sure you look at all these people. When we say list search person, again, you're not supposed to share the slides or the open SOAP programs, but that doesn't mean the person sitting next to you can't look over your shoulder. Sometimes you need somebody else to look at that because it is pages on pages of programs and your eyes will start to cross. So you want to make sure everyone helps you look at the appropriate places and identifies, oh, this specialty, this program in this city has 13 other spots. Ooh, but this one only has 1, and help you really figure that all out. And then before March 16th, double check all of your ERS information. Go over your personal statement again. Make sure you know what your MSPE's read looks like. Make sure you know everything's in place. And again, identifying who can write you new papers or new letters, excuse me. Dr. Romero?
No, I think this is a key part that none of us want to prepare for, but you'd rather have plans A, B, and C. Absolutely. And better to know that you had something lined up and didn't need to tap people in for help than having to, have something else weighing on you because you had to ask people at the last second.
So we're going to show you guys this next slide. For all of you who like, I never thought of a backup. What type of backup are you talking about? These are the options for those who applied to the match last year. And Dr. Romero, I'd like you to take a look at it and tell me, if you were a student, what pointed out to you on this slide. Where would you go? and I would point some things out to me. But these were the programs that were open last year.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start off by just orienting everyone. It's a lot of text, and I know it's a small text for the screens. And so we're looking at 2024, 2025 programs that had filled, programs that had positions available, and what happened at the time of the match, right? And so you can see how there are a lot of positions that almost fill entirely, right? So you can look at by different specialties. You have EM, you have your family medicine, you have your pediatrics, OBGYN, right? And so it's telling you how many programs there were and how many positions became available, and of those, how many ultimately filled.
That is a big orientation. Things that jump out to me. So, as they say in the Nigerian culture, open your ears. Make sure you guys are listening right now. Everyone who thinks, oh, EM, they're down bad. Yeah, we were down bad in 2024. Positions available was 132. 2025, it was down to 64, and all 64 positions filled. Word on the street, that number is going to go down again. So anyone out there thinking EM's my backup, have another one. That's just my recommendation. Other word on the street, because this is still the darling of all specialties. OB, one. All right. If you're applying to OB, I would recommend you have a backup. Just think about it, because OB clearly fills. And if you're thinking, oh, I'll just soap into open program, there was one. And for all the specialties that use your hands, those surgery prelims are the cream of the crop. Everyone aims for surgery with sniper-like focus because they know they can get in and get out. But I warn everyone, if you're going into that, they will treat you like a surgical intern. So if you want to do psych and you're like, I'm going to do surgery prelim, mind yourself. Again, places that are going up, or you should look for trends. I think the trend, my wife is going to kill me. I love you, honey. But pediatrics, mad programs. Think about, you can do what you want to do in the kid version. So pediatrics is a good thought. And of course, family. 2025, 805 open positions with 753 filled. So again, that's probably a big birther, your whale right there. Anyone can kind of match in the family and do something later, or you might fall in love with family too. So just to orient everyone here again, these are things you should be looking at. You're not really soaping into, general surgery, categorical or psych or anything like that. Dermatology, yeah. These 3 available positions did not fill. I used to call those ghost positions, or programs that hold spots for one of their residents if they didn't match. It's supposed to be illegal, but I can't track it. So if you don't match derm, don't think you're going to come here and get derm in the soap.
Let's keep moving along.
All right, the soap.
Yeah, so definitely something that's changed over the several decades. It used to be called the scramble. And so the soap is basically a much more organized way of helping students who did not have an initial match find an alternative position in training programs during that week leading up to match day. So on March 16th, that's a Monday, you're going to look at what is happening before 9 a.m. Eastern. So I know this is a little bit tough for the West Coast folks, because that means that's 6 a.m. your time. But you hopefully don't have any clinical responsibilities that day. And, ideally, if you are on a clinical rotation, you will find some time to talk to your teams and let them know that you just need 15 minutes around, 10 a.m. so that you can check your email and figure out what's happening. You're going to decide if you're going to be opening this email by yourself, or if you're ready to have your family and friends know if you're going to be around to have them witness this with you. If you're in a clinical rotation, is this something that you want to have happen at work? Carry some tissues with you just in case, and have water or any other beverage of your choice available to celebrate and think about the next steps. The last thing is we definitely encourage sharing your match when you get it on social media. Obviously, we want to celebrate you. Keep in mind that maybe you want to stay away from social media in that immediate 30 minutes after you receive that email, so that you don't get overwhelmed in the event that you did not receive the news that you want. You do not want to get overwhelmed by seeing everyone else's post. So that's what you want to do before that time frame, and then just know that you should have a list of who do I need to tell where I'm at. Why is this important? Obviously, your family and your significant others, your best friends, your besties have helped get you through the last 4 or more years of your medical school education. And so it goes without saying that those people should hear from you about where you're going to land. You won't be able to tell them that on this one day, but you will be able to let them know if you match. As far as mentors go, this is a key day to also check in with them. These are the folks that have been giving you advice. Maybe they wrote your letters of recommendation. Maybe they reviewed your personal statements, looked through your CVs for correcting, little things and helping you figure out how to get your activities listed in a way that makes the most sense. Just let them know you match, you didn't match. I would say we appreciate hearing from people when they have matched. And if you happen to be amongst the folks that needs to enter the SOAP, we also prefer getting as much advance notice about that as we can, so that we can also figure out a strategy to help support you.
On behalf of all mentors, we too are stressed on this day, and we too are twiddling our thumbs around 9, 10 o'clock like, oh Lord, what happened? So please let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. So what happens on March 16th is that the schools get a list of the unmatched applicants. The notifications do come out half an hour after that, and everybody gets a list at the same time of what positions are available. So this is, like we talked about earlier, this is the time that you're going to activate that team that you already have set up because you knew that you needed to do that the week before. And you do need to get in touch with your school administration. Most schools are being pretty proactive now about having somebody on campus involved and helping guide students throughout the week. But you want to keep an eye out for these emails. If your school doesn't seem to have someone designated, definitely reach out to your Office of Student Affairs and see who is available to help. The MyEras portal will open up again around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's your opportunity to look at your application, look at where you might think you're going to submit. You want to look at the list. You want to try and figure out what opportunities are available, and you want to come up with a plan by around 2 o'clock that day and start getting your letters and all of the other documents ready by about 4 p.m. that day.
I want to highlight here, please reach out to your school if they're not your enemy. Again, we're going to say that about 2-3 times. And last but not least, I know a lot of people will use the words, stressed, overpressured, overstimulated. I'll handle this tomorrow. You do not want to lose a day when it comes to the SOAP. Mm-hmm. Everything starts on the 16th. Don't push it off till tomorrow.
Keep in mind, you did have some time to look at, I received this news. I took 30 minutes by myself. Mm-hmm. I had tissue on hand, and I will then be able to pick myself up and go on to the next step. So, all right, what are the things that programs are looking for, right? So how can we avoid or try to minimize ending up on the SOAP the week leading up to match day? Programs are looking for people who maybe are good test takers. What does that mean? It doesn't mean you have to have perfect scores, but what you've probably gone through is you hopefully showed a trend in maybe performing poorly and then figuring out how to study, figuring out what a test taking strategy is, and basically having overcome or shown that improvement. So programs generally don't like to take the risk on someone not doing well on their annual in-service exams. They Why are these exams so important? Because the in-training exams are preparation for your actual board exams, which each specialty has a board that says, okay, you've done medical school, you've done this residency training, and now you're a safe surgeon, or now you're a safe emergency medicine physician, and anybody coming off the street should be safe under your care. And so that's why we put such a big emphasis on the exam takings. At least at this time, that's the system we're working in. Programs are looking at people who are going to come in, and we say in surgery, put your head down and work. We don't, we definitely, everyone welcomes diversity, everyone welcomes bringing your whole self to work. But at the same time, your primary goal in residency is to be trained as a practicing, well-trained surgeon, physician, pediatrician. And so really having those priorities. We don't really like to see students who are going to potentially leave. And so a lot of your conversations probably centered around what attracts you to this program, what attracts you to the area. A lot of programs put emphasis on people who have ties to the area because they know that if you have family around, you will feel more supported and are less likely to leave the program or leave the specialty. And then we'll talk a little bit about the 2 a.m. test. If you haven't heard the 2 a.m. test, we are working at all hours of the day. Unfortunately, even sometimes when it's not your shift, you might have a question that pops up. And so what we want to know is, if it's 2 a.m. and you have to call me to tell me about a patient, am I going to be able to sit through that and make sense and be able to listen to you? So hopefully you guys all, I'm sure, pass that 2 a.m. test.
Like, it's very important. Shout out to EM. We're awake at all hours. 2 a.m. the other day on my shift, I was watching with a student who was doing a rotation downhill skiing for the Winter Olympics. And that's what was on. So now you got to talk about Winter Olympics. So you have to, again, but I wanted to sit next to that person. I want to be like, go away. So that's the test you want to pass.
Absolutely.
And again, this is what programs look for all the time for the match and the SOAP. So if you enter the SOAP, think about these things when you're interviewing with people. And I want to bring up notoriety. There can be good and bad notoriety, so keep an eye on that. I was listening to a podcast, actually, The Lounge, SNMA's The Lounge, and Dr. Iggy was on, and he was talking about how he was bringing notoriety to the program, ortho real big, getting all the Instagram followers. And then one post, I think he said, like, rubbed an attending or someone wrong, and they sat him down and they were like, is this really what you want to do? Like, do you have to do the IG thing? And he was like, whoa, y'all loved it before, and now it's a problem. So it can be a good and a bad thing. But programs do look at that. I know we used to change our name on Facebook back when we were applying, just so programs can look at us to find that notoriety. But now everyone's life is kind of out there in the open, so be aware.
Absolutely. That's wise advice.
Mm-hmm.
So after the first day, your day's going to end. We said, maybe around 4, maybe 5, hopefully, and then just take a break from this. The next day is going to be when applications can actually be submitted. And that's going to be something that you want to do by 8 a.m. because at 8 a.m. programs are able to start reviewing new applicants and start making their list for who they're going to invite for interviews. That process will give about 3.5 hours, and then programs can start building those lists. Okay. Now, March 18th is a day where you have nothing to do but focus on yourself, and you're going to eat, you're going to maybe go for a walk or do an intense workout, do stretching exercises, yoga, Pilates, whatever you'd like, but do something to take your mind off of the whole process.
take your mind off of it, but please have your phone on you. This is not the week for do not disturb. All right. March
Oh,
16th through March 20th, your phone's on.
no
I don't care,
TNT.
ringer. Yes, it is. Everyone needs to get in contact with you at any time. If you're in hot yoga, your phone's next to you on ringer, pick it up, step out. And it'll be all kind of random numbers. If you don't answer unknown numbers, this is not the week. If you don't answer numbers that you don't know, or you have like healthcare blocked, this is not the week. Just throwing that out there.
Absolutely.
Also, I'm going to the next slide, but you guys, if you have any other questions, again, you can put them in the chat. We should be able to see them, or our colleagues in the background can forward them to us. We will answer all of your questions to make sure this is as clear as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So you had March 18th off, and now you're looking at March 19th. Again, you have a team around you. Let them know what you need. Figure out where, is it coffee? Is it bagels? Do you need, clean thank you notes? Whatever it is, have a team that's available to help support you. Your day really starts at 9 a.m. when the SOAP offers round 1 starts. Then by 11 a.m. that round ends, and any programs that have not filled will become available so that you can reapply again. There are several cycles of this, but basically it's March 19th. You have one round that starts at 9. You have a second round that will start at around midday. And then that will end around 2. And again, that cycle will continue so you can apply to more programs. Let's go to the next slide. There is a third round and a fourth round that, as you can see, the timeline will start around 3 p.m. It ends at 5. The fourth round starts at 6. It ends at 8. And the very final round ends at 9 p.m. Eastern. And that's when the SOAP ends. By March 19th at 9 p.m., that is the final results of all of the programs.
We have an excellent question in the chat. The question is it true that it's better to accept during the first round? Now, I'm going to take a pause here. I'm going to give you my answer. Dr. Ramil will give you her answers. And if we agree, we're 2 for 2. You only have so much time and so many programs. Whatever you apply to in the first round, you're probably willing to take. This happens with a lot of students I mentor. I'll use this for example. They wanted to get back into OB. There were 3 OB programs and they had an interview, but the family medicine program they interviewed at is the one offering them. These offers do not last all day. And in my opinion, my answer is yes. It's been said well before the SOAP happened. 1 in the hand is worth more than 2 in the bush. I would not roll that dice on seeing all that other program swore they're going to get back to me. You do not know, and you do not want to play with literally money and an opportunity. Dr. Romero?
I agree, absolutely. And this is part of the thinking that you're going to do between now and the week of match is, what is going to be my plan if I do end up in the SOAP? Am I someone who's going to stick to, I'm only going to take positions in the field that I applied to? Or am I someone who maybe is open to considering similar specialties that I would be willing to train in and I would be equally fulfilled? Every time that the rounds happen, there are less and less and less positions available. So if you think back to that table we showed you about the positions that were available in the SOAP, right? Dr. Anani highlighted how there were only 60 some emergency medicine positions, right, that went unfilled initially. You can imagine that those positions get taken away. So maybe while you started with 60, that number is going to be dwindling down to maybe like 20 positions in the second round, and then maybe around 5 or so positions in the third round. And it's unlikely that those positions will continue to be open because every round more and more people match.
And thank you for bringing that chart, because I remember the other year this happened. People swore, but there's 3 derm spots still open. There's 3 derm spots still open. As you see, though that program did not want to fill those spots. So you only have so much hope. We're already in this position. We're already down bad. Don't let the opportunity pass you. And keep putting those questions in the chat because that was an excellent question. So throw them at us. SOAP numbers, which would allude more to your question, Dr. Romero.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the 2024-2025 applicants who were accepting positions in the SOAP, right? And you can see that you're looking at the number of eligible applicants by U.S. MD schools, whether they're seniors or past graduates. You can also see IMGs, which are U.S. in IMGs or foreign medical schools, and then you have non-U.S. IMGs. You also have fifth pathway Canadian students in the very bottom row. So again, this is showing you how many applicants were accepted and how many did actually accept those positions. So you can see that even through the SOAP, those numbers don't always mean that everyone matches. And we'll just go through that first line. There were 2,000 eligible applicants, only 900 positions accepted, only about 900 actually accepting positions. So even as you go through the SOAP, you're not guaranteed to find a job through that process.
When people say the SOAP is the Hunger Games, people, this is what they're talking about. I hate seeing this every year. 13,670 eligible applicants, all vying for SOAP positions for only 2,300. That's why you don't pass up on that opportunity. K-Love 4984. That's why you got taken in the first round.
Are you gonna call her out like that?
That's the name. I didn't say nothing about no government name. No government names were said.
So keep in mind everything we've said, and our tips are really the best success stories start before the week of match week, right? And so please go through this, save the link. The recording will be up. Watch it again next week after you submit your rank list. As a reminder, please certify that rank list on March 2nd. Okay. Use your team to offload unnecessary tasks. This is not the day to be dealing with your gardener or to be dealing with your bank or any other tasks that do not focus on SOAP. Remember that your school is not your enemy. Use them to help support you and help you get anything that you might need, such as scanning documents, updating new letters, helping someone get your letter printed and updated to reflect what you've done in the 6 months since you first submitted your application. Remember that you guys applied back in September, and I'm sure you did a ton of things in the 6 months that passed until the match week. Lists shouldn't be shared per official rules, but you can definitely talk to people who can give you guidance and advice on what options are available. And then keep in mind that you are limited to 45 applications for the entire SOAP process, including the subsequent rounds.
And we usually get this comment. No one asked it, but I'm gonna say it now because as a mentor, it comes up every year as I'm talking to someone. The question always is, should I use all 45 on day one? I usually tell people, because you never know. Sometimes you want to switch specialties. Sometimes the wind blows a different way. And maybe this is just bad gambling on my habit. I usually tell people at minimum, go 35 to 40 on the first round. Usually I'll push towards 40. And then you can have 5 in your back pocket if the interviews aren't flowing in like you want to. Maybe you applied all 40 to peds and they're not coming in. And you have 5 family left. You can kind of add those on. But if you are going to do that tactic, don't wait till like round 5 the day before and then unleash them. This is supposed to be, all right, round 1 looked like trash. All right, here are my new 5 that I'm putting out there. That's usually what I tell people to do. Have you ever encountered that question, Dr. Romero, about what you advise people to do?
Absolutely. And keep in mind the SOAP has changed a little bit over the years that they've done it, where they used to have interview dates and application dates on different days. Now it's all happening in the one single day, although it just becomes a very long day. I agree that you should try to apply to more programs earlier on in the SOAP process, because you're going to have your best chance at being looked at by programs who still have positions open, right? And remember that every round there's a new list of programs that you're then going to have to scour through to figure out how many of these still have positions and how many of them do I want to submit my application to, right? And so if you get your application out there, cast a wider net, you're more likely to catch something while there is some available positions.
For sure.
And don't forget, celebrate. Come on, guys. Really, it's important. Celebrate yourselves, celebrate your friends, celebrate your peers. It's a huge accomplishment. And no matter where you end up, no matter what region of the country, what specialty, whether you're going to take a plan B, March 20th is a day to celebrate everyone.
And that was bolded on our side. Y'all like, why y'all change the colors on the slide? We didn't change them. That when it uploaded, it did that background. So match day pro tips, because we're celebrating, all right? Number one, reserve that restaurant table now. I'm just telling y'all right now, you'll be surprised at what restaurants will be packed, especially if everyone from grandma down to your cousins are coming to your match day. If you need a table of 16 and you are in one of those DMV schools, good luck. So this is not a pull-up type of day. Make a reservation now. Again, your future PD might call you on that day, so please answer unknown numbers. A lot of people will do congratulations, or they get really pressed to get you to start your paperwork, so they'll remind you and confirm your email, stuff like that. Carve out family time, right? Your family's going to be there. They're going to want their photos. Don't go straight from match day to hanging out with your friends. Even if it's something you can promise them, I guarantee you they'll let you enjoy yourself if they know what they're looking forward to. Hey, mom, I'm going to be really busy on Friday, but Saturday all day from breakfast down to whatever is all you guys. Just make sure they're aware. My favorite pro tip, sections are not cheap alone, all right? You want to go with your friends. You're thinking about you want to stand up and be out there we're future doctors. Go in together. There's no reason y'all got to, shoulder that bill one person. You can take however many stacks and divide it by 5, 10, 15. A lot of those sections will give you 15 entry tickets. So just look for that, divide equally. For anyone who wants to not have a section, but be surrounded by people they like, AMEC is exactly 2 weeks after match day. So just reminding you about that. It is definitely a conference in Pittsburgh this year. Come out, look at the bridges, have fun. My retort to everyone, if Pittsburgh is good enough to host the NFL draft, it should be good enough to host AMEC. So come on out, have fun. You do have to go back to your clinical rotations at some point. So just, again, talk to those attendings, talk to the rotators who are in charge of it. Make sure you know what day has to come back. Are you allotted 6 days, things like that. Do not think it's automatically going to show up on Monday. You can be dropped or suspended from school between match day and graduation. It's rare, but it can happen. And my thing, which I've always fought for, we go back and forth every time we do this every year, just don't do anything for residency before March 20th if you don't have to. Have some fun. There's always that person out there after they submit their rank list, they're on Zillow.com looking up apartments in every city in their top 5. Don't do that. Have fun. You will have plenty of time afterwards. Just relax, chill, enjoy the moment because you will forget it. So just throwing that out there. That is definitely things that you would like to do. Any other tips that you have, Dr. Romero?
I agree. Absolutely. And whether or not you're traveling, whether or not you're partying like a rock star, again, definitely keep your closest people aware, included in everything that you're doing to celebrate.
I definitely thought a mentee didn't match and hit them up the last day of soap. You've not reached out to me. How can I help you? And they're like, oh, I matched. It's what? So yes, reach out. So again, questions. We're going to take 30 seconds here or so. Place them in the chat. Reach out to us. We can answer them while you're putting your questions up. If you're like, oh, I don't want them in the chat because he will see my name. Here's how you can connect with us as well. I believe our IGs are both on our names. So you can reach out there. But we want to help. And again, the best prep is now.
Yeah.
So do it.
Yeah. And don't forget, tag us, let us know where you match, let us know what piece you found most useful from this video. We want to know what we can do better to help other students in the future prepare. And so hit us up. How was it like to have a team ready behind you? What was it like to have the plan ready, but you didn't end up needing it?
Yes.
Let us know what are the most useful tips or what are the things that came up for you that you think we should include.
Please, especially those team members, a team member we forgot about, whether not the cry person, the food person, whatever you got, let us know, because we want to make this better. And like I said, literally this week, someone brought up the AI tip towards me and I was like, yo, that's very, very true. People are going to be, people use AI for everything now. We know you guys use it. You can't hide it from us. So I will not be surprised if someone used AI for this. So that's where that tip came from. So send us more tips. We update this slide every single year.
Absolutely.
And looking at the chat, nothing is sparking up. Nothing is coming up.
That means you did such an amazing job. We're so thorough.
We are very, very thorough. So I'll leave the connect slide up. Again, if you even just, hey, I need the data that you showed on the slide. I didn't feel like hitting pause. Send us reach out to us. We will get you the data. And this is at Twerk for Diversity on just about everything. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Let us know. With that, we will give you back 3 minutes of your time, and we will see all of your lovely posts on March 20th. Have a good night.
Good luck, everyone.
Good luck.